everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the quite frankly utterly adorable Sleeping Unicorn Square by Lisa from Cute Crochet Makes for her Unicorn Dreams Blanket Crochet Along. If this is your first visit to my channel, it would be amazing if you just took a moment to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. As always, all the information for this square, yarn, hook sizes, colours and a free downloadable written PDF pattern are all available on Lisa's website Cute Crochet Makes, which I've linked to in the description box below. Whilst you're in the description box hunting for that link to Lisa's website, you'll notice there's also timestamps. Now those timestamps are for your convenience so that you can jump immediately to the part of the video that you particularly need help with, and you can cut out a lot of unnecessary information that you don't necessarily need. Now this square is the last square that I'm going to be filming for Lisa's Crochet Along. I have a link to the playlist which shows all the other squares. I've lost track of how many I've filmed now over the last few months, but this is the very last square for those of you following along with these videos. So for all you seasoned pro crocheters out there who have got your solid granny squares down, from you I need a 5 round solid granny square, and then use those timestamps in the description box below to leap to rows 6 and 7 where we do this very pretty edging. So if you know what you're doing and you want to cut out a huge sort of 15-minute chunk of this video, then a 5 round solid granny square in green and meet me back for row 6. Now don't panic if you don't know how to crochet a solid granny square. I am about to show you how to do just that. In this video, in just a moment, I'm going to show you how you do the first 3 rounds of a solid granny square, and then you can carry on, do the next 2 rounds and meet us all back at the same place for doing 6 and 7 together. So without any further ado, let's jump straight on in to how to make this truly beautiful Sleeping Unicorn Square. So with my 4mm crochet hook and my spring green yarn, I'm going to show you how to crochet the first 3 rounds of Lisa's solid granny squares. So we're going to start with a magic ring. Now, if you don't know how to do a magic ring, I have a link in the description box on just how to do that, or a little eye to the video on it will have popped up around here somewhere. So from your magic ring, you're going to chain 5. Now this chain 5 counts as your first double crochet, which is the first 3 chains, and a chain 2 space. So those first 3 chains of this chain 5 act like a mock stitch. Now you're going to place 3 double crochet into this magic ring. If you don't know how to do a double crochet, I also have a video on how to do that stitch, which is in the description box below. And if any point in this video I am going too fast for you, you can slow the speed of the video itself by, if you're on desktop, there's a little cog icon to find your settings, or on mobile you'll have 3 little dots up here somewhere, but it's under your settings for the speed of the video. So you've got your 3 double crochet stitches. Now you're going to chain 2 and place 3 more double crochet into that magic ring. The chain 2 forms your little corner space. Chain 2. And again, 3 double crochet into that magic ring. Chain 2, and now because the first 3 chains of your first chain 5 count as your first double crochet stitch, we only need 2 double crochet into this ring. Now you can pull your magic ring closed a little bit, but not all the way just yet. So just bring it closed fractionally. And then to finish this round, those chain 5 that you did, those first 5 chains, you want to count 3 of them. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain. Now, if you can't find the third chain, don't worry too much. Just sort of aim for a section that lines up with your stitches and leave a chain or two spare for the corner space. There's a bit of leeway with these. You don't need to worry too much. Then you're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space. And you can now go ahead and pull that magic ring completely tight, and we can move on to round 2. So for round 2, again, we're going to start with a chain 5, which counts as your first double crochet and a chain 2. And you're going to place 2 double crochet into that same chain 2 space where you just chained from. Now you want to move your stitches out of the way a little bit because they have a tendency, these corner stitches, to cover up your middle stitches. And we're going to place a double crochet into each of these 3 double crochet stitches from the row below. So you're going to go underneath both loops of that stitch to put your double crochet in. So a double crochet in each of the double crochet from the row below. Then into this chain 2 space, you're going to place 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochet, all into that exact same chain 2 space. Now you can see how these stitches immediately start overlapping this first double crochet here. So just pull them around a little bit so you can clearly see where you are going, and place a double crochet into each of the 3 double crochet from the row below. Into your chain 2 space, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all into that exact same chain 2 corner space. One double crochet in each of the 3 from the row below. Into your chain 2 space here, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So we're on the last side here. So again, you're going to place a double crochet into each of these 3 double crochet from the row below. Then to finish the round, we need 1 double crochet because your chain 5 counts as a double crochet and chain 2 space. So 1 more double crochet back into that original chain 2 space where you very first started. And then slip stitch to the 3rd chain of your initial chain 5. Then slip stitch into that chain 2 space, ready to begin the 3rd round. So for round 3, just as before, start with a chain 5, which counts as your first double crochet and chain 2. Then place 2 double crochet into that exact same space where you just chained from. Now move these stitches out of the way, and you are going to place a double crochet into each of the double crochet from the row below. So you had 3 last time. This time you will have 7. Then in your chain 2 corner space, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all into that exact same place. So you're going to repeat this around the next few sides. 1 double crochet in each double crochet from the row below, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into your corner space, double crochet in every single stitch along this side, corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, then a double crochet in every single stitch along here, and meet me back here so we can finish the end of this row together. So this is my last double crochet of the side section. And to end the row, we need 1 more double crochet back into this starting point, and then slip stitch to the 3rd chain of your initial chain 5. Then slip stitch into that chain 2 space, ready to begin the next round. So with a solid granny square, your side sections grow by 4 stitches each round. So you started with 3, then you had 7, then you have 11, and it keeps growing. So 15, 19, exponentially out, 4 more side stitches on each row. So for your sleeping unicorn square, what we need is 2 more rounds, just like we've done these. Chain 5, 2 double crochet into that first space, double crochet in every stitch all the way along, and in your corners 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet all the way around, and then at the end you end with 1 double crochet back into this place and slip stitch. So 2 more rounds. So you will have 5 rounds in total. You go ahead and do those. I'm going to go ahead and do mine, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment where we can do round 6 and 7 together. So I'm just finishing up my 5th round of the solid granny, and I'm slip stitching into the chain 2 space. So we should all be at the same stage now, and hello to all you pros that had leapt ahead and are now only joining us for rounds sort of 6 and 7. Hello, welcome. So for round 6, you are going to start as usual with a chain 5, which counts as your first double crochet, and chain 2, and then into your chain 2 space you're going to pop 2 double crochet. Now you're going to chain 1, miss this first double crochet, and pop a double crochet into the next. So skip a stitch and pop your double crochet into your very next stitch. Chain 1, skip a stitch, and place your double crochet into the next. So you're going to do this all the way along. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next. So keep going all the way along this side of your square. When you reach the end here, chain 1, skip a stitch, and you'll be immediately at your chain 2 corner space. So pop 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into that corner space. Then repeat this side section all the way round. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. In the corners, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. You go around all the way and I will meet you over here in just a moment. To end the row, pop a double crochet into that very first starting place and join with a slip stitch to the 3rd chain of your initial chain 5. Then slip stitch into the chain 2 space itself. Ready to begin row 7. Okay, for row 7, you're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and in this corner space, you're going to place 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. Then you're going to place a single crochet in every single stitch and chain space that you created on the row below, and in the corners, 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. Now make sure when you're doing your corner stitches that you just pull them around a little bit to free up the visuals of that very first stitch, because they easily cover up and you can miss it. So we're just going to pop a single crochet into every stitch and chain space from the row below, and in the corners, 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. To finish this round, you're going to slip stitch to that very first single crochet that you did. It's quite tricky to find it, especially in this light green yarn. Then leave yourself a decent length of yarn for weaving in, pull that through, and we are done with the square itself. So this is how your square should be looking. Don't worry too much if it is curling. You can block your project at the end, but what I have found with most of Lisa's squares that then involve a sort of applique sections after, sewing on all the applique bits at the end does a really good job of almost sort of self-blocking your square. So don't worry too much. You can just smooth it out and live with it. It's fine. So go ahead and weave in your end here and weave in the end of your magic circle, because don't be fooled by the name. They can come undone again. So definitely weave in this one too. And we can move on to making the sleeping unicorn appliques. So for the unicorn head applique itself, I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and white yarn. Now, I am aware that white is a very tricky colour to see on film. So I thoroughly recommend just popping over to Lisa's website and grabbing that copy of the written pattern if you haven't already got it, so that you can follow along line by line with me sort of shouting out what you do rather than solely relying on this video, because white can be difficult to see. But I've zoomed in pretty close and I'm going to go as slowly and clearly as possible. So start with a slip knot and we're going to chain 13. So you have your 13 chains. This loop on your hook does not count as anything. You've got your first chain here by my thumb, and we're going to skip this one and we're going to work into the second chain. So skip this first one and work into this second chain. And you're going to place a single crochet into every chain all the way along. So at the end of this row, you will have 12 single crochet stitches. chain 1, turn, and you're going to place 2 single crochet into this very first stitch. So just where you chain from, we're going to place 2 single crochet. So you have your 2 there. Then we're going to put a single crochet in every stitch all the way along, and then in your very last stitch we're going to end with 2 single crochet. So you will have 14 single crochet stitches in total. So we end with 2 single crochet in that very last stitch. Chain 1, turn, and for rows 3 and 4, so the next 2 rows, you're going to place a single crochet in all 14 stitches. So single crochet across for 14 stitches, chain 1, turn, and 14 single crochet all the way back. For row 5, chain 1 and turn, and we're going to decrease over these first 2 stitches. So place your hook in, drop a loop and come back through, 2 loops, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So you've done a single crochet decrease. Then we're going to single crochet until the last 2 stitches. So I have single crocheted in 10 stitches. I've got 2 left and we're going to do another decrease over those 2. So you'll have 12 stitches at the end of this row. For row 6, chain 1, turn, and decrease over these 2 stitches. So just straight in, decrease, and then single crochet in all the remaining stitches. You'll have 11 stitches at the end of this row. Now don't forget your final single crochet goes in the top of that decrease in the row below. And just do a quick count to ensure that you have 11 stitches, because working with white is very tricky. So that's my 11th stitch there. Chain 1, turn, and place a single crochet in all 11 stitches. Chain 1, turn, decrease over the first 2, and then single crochet in the remaining stitches. You will have 10 stitches at the end of this row. So you've got some sort of shaping going on here. Don't worry, it's supposed to look like that at this stage. It's row 9, turn. We're going to decrease over the first 2 stitches, single crochet until the very last 2 stitches where we're going to do another decrease. You'll have 8 stitches at the end of this row, so decrease, then single crochet, then decrease over the final 2 stitches, so this one and this one here that's hiding. Again, just double check that you've got 8 stitches in total. Then for rows 10, 11 and 12, you're going to do a single crochet rows for 8 stitches. So 3 rows of single crochet. Okay, row 13, we're going to place a single crochet in all 8 stitches. Then you're going to chain 10. Now flip your work. So you want your chain to be on this side. And working into the second chain from your hook, so ignore the loop on your hook, ignore this first chain, place a single crochet in each of the chains. So that's 9 single crochet. And then continue with a single crochet in your 8 single crochet here. So you'll have 17 stitches by the end of this row. Chain 1 and 10. Then you're going to start with a decrease on the first 2 stitches. Then single crochet in all your stitches all the way along until these last 2. At the end of this row, you'll have 15 stitches in total. I'm just decreasing over the last 2 stitches. If I can get in there. And then it's good to just double check that you have 15 stitches in total, so you know you're on the right track. All right, row 16, we'll start with a decrease. Then single crochet in every stitch all the way along. And at the end of this row, you will have 14 stitches in total. Row 17, again, start with a decrease and then single crochet in all the remaining stitches for a total of 13 stitches by the end of this row. Keep checking your count so you know that you're on the right tracks, because it's very, very easy to lose track of where you are when working with white yarn. Even I keep stopping to check. Row 18, we're going to start and end on a decrease. So decrease over the first 2 stitches, single crochet all the way along until the very last 2, where you'll do another decrease. You'll then have a total of 11 stitches for this row. Row 19, we're going to single crochet all the way across and then decrease on the very last 2 stitches. So it will be 10 stitches in total. So single crochet until the very last 2, where you'll do a decrease. Row 20, you're going to decrease, then single crochet, then end on a decrease for a total of 8 stitches. So that's a decrease. And then I'm ending on a decrease, which gives me the total of 8 stitches for this row. Row 21, a repeat. So start with a decrease, end with a decrease, and you will have 6 stitches in total. Row 22, same again, decrease, single crochet, end on a decrease, and you will have 4 stitches in total. Row 24, we're going to do a single crochet 3 together. So pull up a loop from that first stitch, pull up a loop in the second stitch, and pull up a loop in that final stitch. So you'll have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Then chain 1, cut your yarn, leaving a tail end for weaving, and pull that through. Now turn it around, and we're going to be rejoining our yarn at this point here. Let me zoom back in a little bit for you. So we're going to be rejoining the yarn here. So I'm just going to pop a slip knot on my hook, might help. At the back here, and I'm drawing the loop through. And I'm going to chain one, which does not count as anything here. And I'm going to place a single crochet in the exact same stitch. So we're working into the bottom of the chain 10 that you did here, and you're going to place 8 more single crochet. So you should have 9 single crochet. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, it would help if I actually did what I was telling you guys to do. I didn't count and I was missing a stitch. So I've got 9 single crochet in total here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So underneath this head area, 9. Chain 1, turn, decrease over the first 2 stitches, single crochet all the way along, and then we're going to decrease over the last 2 stitches. So we want 7 stitches in total. So that's 1, 2, and then decrease these final 2. This first one's going to be a little bit difficult to get into, but you should have 7 stitches. Chain 1, turn and place a single crochet in all 7 of your 7 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Decrease over the first 2 stitches, single crochet for 3, and then decrease over those final 2. You'll have a total of 5 stitches. Chain 1, turn, and 1 single crochet in each of those 5 stitches. Chain 1 and turn, decrease, single crochet, decrease. Chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do another 3 single crochet 3 together. So pull up a loop, do each of those 3 stitches, and yarn over and pull through all 3. Then we're going to chain 1, turn, and we're going to place a single crochet around the entire unicorn shape. So single crochet all the way around, and then finish with a single finish with a slip stitch to that very first stitch that you did. So I'm just going to single crochet evenly all the way around this shape that we have made. So to end, I'm going to end with a slip stitch into that very first single crochet that I did. I have sort of just roughly single crocheted all the way around my little sleepy unicorn. Now to finish, I'm going to actually leave myself quite a nice long length of the white. So I've got that for sewing to the square at the other end, but I will weave in all these other bits like where we joined the yarn here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this through. So I'm going to weave in these other ends, pop it to one side for a moment, and we can go on to make the main fringe and horn. For the unicorn hair, I'm going to be using a 3mm crochet hook, and you're going to need 4 different colours, which are all listed in Lisa's pattern of the hair. So I've made 3, and I'm going to show you how to make the 4th. So to start, you're going to chain 26. Now this is a tiny, tiny hook, so I have zoomed the camera in incredibly far. But chain 26. All right, so that's my 26th chain. So first of all, ignoring this loop on your hook and ignoring this very first chain, you're going to work into the second, and we're going to place a slip stitch into the second chain from your hook. Then we're going to do 4 single crochet 2 together. I've made that sound really confusing. We're going to be working over the next 8 chains, doing 4 single crochet decreases essentially. So to do that, place your hook into the next chain and pull up a loop, and then insert your hook back into the chain next to that and pull up a loop. So you've pulled up loops through 2 chains. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So we're going to do that 3 more times. So you'll find your work is curling back on you, which is exactly what we want, so don't worry too much about that. And now you're going to place a single crochet in the next 8 chains, just straight up single crochets. Now we're going to do some half double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, go into the next chain, and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go into the next chain, pull up a loop. You'll have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. So we want 2 more of those. Yarn over, go into the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next chain, pull up a loop, and when you have 5 loops, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. One more time. Then to end, place a slip stitch in the last 2 chains. Then fasten off, leaving a nice long tail for sewing on. So you'll need 4 of those in the colours listed in Lisa's pattern. Once you have all 4, set those aside and we can work on the fringe. So the fringe is made up of 2 separate sections of separate lengths, again using your 3mm hook. Now for the first one, using apricot, we're going to chain 18 to start. So again, we're going to slip stitch into the second chain from our hook. So ignore this loop, ignore this first chain, and we're working into the second. Just pop a slip stitch in there. Then we're going to increase in the next 3 chains, and an increase is 2 single crochet in the same chain. So place 2 single crochet in the very next chain, 2 single crochet in this next chain, and 2 single crochet in the next. So you'll have 6 single crochet worked over just 3 chains. It's wanting to curl already. Hopefully the camera will stay focused on the section I want it to and won't get distracted by these curly bits. So pop a single crochet in the next chain, just a single crochet on its own. Then we're going to do 2 decreases. So pop your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, and then put your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. And we're going to repeat that again, do another decrease over the next 2 chains. Then you're going to place a single crochet in the next few stitches up until these last 4 chains. So you're going to place a single crochet in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. So 4 single crochet. We're going to place a decrease over the next 2 chains. Skip the next chain and end with a slip stitch in that very last chain. So you've got a sort of wiggly, jiggly, curly at the end strand of fringe, so we can fasten that one off, leaving a long tail for sewing in afterwards, or sewing to your unicorn. And then grab your next colour for your next part of fringe, which is candy floss. So this part of fringe is a little bit shorter. We're going to start with 10 chains for this one, again using your 3mm crochet hook. And again, we're going to start with a slip stitch in that second chain from your hook. Decrease over the next 2 chains. Then place a single crochet in the next 2 chains, just a single crochet on its own. So that's 1, that's 2. Increase in the next 2 stitches, so 2 single crochet in the next chain and 2 in the chain after that. Then to end this, we're going to slip stitch into the last 2 chains, then fasten off and leave a nice long length for sewing to your unicorn. So again, you're left with a little wiggly jiggly part, a nice long one and a much shorter one. So that's the fringe pieces done. The last bit we need to crochet is the horn. For the horn, we're going to be sticking with our 3mm crochet hook, and we're going to be using lemon yarn. So to start, we're going to chain 4. Now we're going to crochet in the second chain from hook, so ignore the loop, ignore that first chain, and we're going to work a single crochet into these 3 chains along the bottom. So we have 3 single crochet. Chain 1, turn, and for the next 2 rows we're just going to place a single crochet in each 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, just curling around at the end there. Chain 1, turn, and come back again. 1, 2, 3 single crochet. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to decrease over these first 2 stitches and end with a single crochet in the last stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Then decrease over these 2 stitches, which will leave you with just 1 stitch. Chain 1, turn, and we're going to slip stitch back into that first stitch there. You're going to slip stitch down the sides, and in these corner here and here, so in the 2 bottom corners, you're going to place slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch to come around. So we're just going to go ahead and slip stitch down the side. And in this bottom corner here, slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch in the same stitch. And the same on this corner. And then slip stitch back up the side. Then end with a slip stitch back into that first slip stitch at the top here. Mine's around here somewhere. It's so tiny I can't see it. And then chain 1, fasten off, leaving tail to again sew your horn to your square width. So now you have all your pieces crocheted, and it is time for the assembly. Now, Lisa's instructions on her written PDF talk you through all the different placement of all these different bits. It looks like chaos here. But once you have weaved in all your ends and sewn it all together, it should look like, drum roll please, ta-da! Like this. So did you enjoy all that sewing? I don't know why I'm laughing. If you don't laugh, you'll just cry in circumstances like this. Now it is done, it's totally worth it. At about midpoint of sewing on this hair, I was questioning my life choices. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love the finished product, and I have very quickly forgotten the pain of all that sewing. So if you wanted to now go ahead and block your square, you are of course more than welcome to do so. Mine's pretty much square anyway after doing all the sewing on. It kind of pulls it nicely into shape, but I may give this a final block ahead of the joining. So I really hope you enjoyed crocheting your sleeping unicorn squares. Huge thanks to Lisa, as always, for allowing me to film her absolutely beautiful square patterns. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the sleeping unicorn square? It is super cute. It is a pain, but it is so worth it. So I really hope that you love this one just as much as all the others. The next couple of videos in this series will be covering the joining of your squares with the flat braid join, and of course the border. So until next time, happy crocheting! Bye!